Segment 6, Rebuilding, Reinventing, and the Rise of the Consumer Age. Please like, subscribe, and share right now. And so, we drift forward once more. The great crash has come and gone. The markets have fallen silent. And across the world, millions of ordinary people are picking up the pieces of something that felt, just moments ago, so solid and so certain. But here is what history teaches us, gently and repeatedly, about the world of business. It does not stay broken. It never stays broken. In 1933, newly elected American President Franklin D. Roosevelt looked out at a nation in profound distress. Banks were still failing. Unemployment had reached nearly 25%. And Roosevelt understood that the relationship between government and business needed to fundamentally change. He launched what became known as the New Deal, a sweeping series of programs and reforms designed to stabilize banks, create employment, and restore confidence in the American economy. The New Deal didn't just provide relief. It redrew the boundaries of what governments were expected to do in times of economic crisis. One of the most enduring legacies of this era was the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933. It separated commercial banking from investment banking. The idea was simple but powerful. Banks that held ordinary people's savings should not be allowed to gamble those savings on speculative investments. It was a line drawn firmly in the sand between safety and risk. Breathe slowly here. Let the quiet determination of a nation rebuilding itself wash gently over you. As America rebuilt through the 1930s, the world beyond its borders was darkening. The Second World War, which consumed the globe from 1939 to 1945, had a profound and lasting impact on the world of business. American factories that had been producing consumer goods were retooled almost overnight to produce planes and tanks and ships and munitions. The economy didn't just recover during the war. It boomed. And the industrial and organizational knowledge gained during those years of fierce and focused production would fuel an era of peacetime prosperity unlike anything the world had seen before. Because when the soldiers came home, they came home to something remarkable. A world hungry for goods, for comfort, for the simple pleasures of ordinary life after years of sacrifice and hardship. And American business was ready to provide. The late 1940s and 1950s saw the rise of what we now call the consumer economy. Refrigerators, washing machines, televisions, automobiles. Things that had once been luxuries became everyday expectations. At the heart of this new consumer economy was something that would become one of the most powerful forces in all of modern business. Advertising. Not the simple notices and announcements of earlier centuries, but sophisticated, persuasive, psychologically astute campaigns designed to make people want things. In the 1950s, advertising agencies on Madison Avenue in New York City became some of the most influential businesses in America. They didn't just sell products. They sold lifestyles. They sold aspirations. Rest here for a moment. Consider how quietly and completely advertising had woven itself into the fabric of daily life. Business had discovered something fundamental about human nature. That people don't just buy products. They buy stories. They buy feelings. They buy versions of themselves that they hope to become. And speaking of transformation, the 1950s also gave birth to something that would go on to become one of the most studied and imitated business models in history. In 1955, a milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc visited a small but extraordinarily efficient hamburger restaurant in San Bernardino, California, run by two brothers named Richard and Maurice McDonald. A kitchen stripped down to its bare essentials. A menu of just a handful of items. A system so precise and so repeatable that every burger tasted exactly the same. Every time. Kroc understood immediately that he was looking at something historic. He partnered with the McDonald brothers and began franchising their system across America. The franchise model, the idea that a proven business system could be replicated identically in thousands of locations, would go on to reshape retail, food, hospitality, and services across the entire world. And McDonald's itself would eventually become the most recognized brand on the planet. Sleep now. Please like, subscribe, and share right now. Facts covered in Segment 6. 1. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal launched in 1933 fundamentally redrew the boundaries of government responsibility during economic crises. 2. The Glass-Steagall Act of 1933 separated commercial and investment banking to protect ordinary depositors from financial speculation. 3. The Second World War from 1939 to 1945 triggered one of the greatest mobilizations of industrial and economic power in history. 4. The post-war period gave rise to the consumer economy in which the production and consumption of everyday goods became the central engine of growth. 5. The 1950s advertising industry on Madison Avenue transformed business by selling lifestyles and aspirations rather than just products. 6. Advertisers discovered that people buy stories and feelings rather than products alone, fundamentally changing the relationship between businesses and consumers. 7. Ray Kroc visited the McDonald Brothers restaurant in San Bernardino, California in 1955 and recognized a revolutionary business system. 8. The franchise model pioneered by McDonald's allowed a proven business system to be replicated identically across thousands of locations worldwide. 9. McDonald's eventually became the most recognized brand on the entire planet.